Hi guys, Ronnie here. A quick recap from the weekend's road race, which was the Seredmaraton. This is quite a hard road race where basically the whole elite field in Slovakia lines up. So I was looking forward to it. The road is very nice as well, and you can see it's quite lumpy with a KOM point just over here at kilometer 70. This is usually where the race begins in a proper way, and then a couple more small climbs, and then unfortunately flat and slightly downhill all the way to the finish. So let's look at some actual data from the ride. In previous years I've made the mistake of lining up at the back of the grid. Now that's usually not a problem if you are at an elite level road race or some kind of national level road race. However, despite this being a pretty high level race, it's open to anyone, and that means there's a huge number of people lining up. I think there were more than 300 riders this year, and it happens that there are guys in the front row who can't really keep up. So yeah, and then the pack is quite chaotic. So this year I managed to avoid that and went basically right from the start all the way with the first group. There was some tailwinds, some crosswinds where we went really slow. You can see that here. No one was really willing to pull. And then there were a couple of breakaway attempts, but the teams reeled them all back. So I didn't really want to spend too much energy at this point because I wanted to give it all at the KM point. So the race was quite uneventful, and I managed to, well, as you can see, the average power is pretty low up until this point. Then it really started heating up basically 5 kilometers from the climb, because you need to be in a good position beforehand, just so you don't waste energy trying to get back on the front of the race, because then you have to go faster than the leaders, and that's not often possible. The problem was that the teams were lined up at the front in a single file, so I had to waste a little bit of energy. As you can see, I was putting quite a lot of power in here, just to, well, they didn't let me in the single file, so I was just kind of sideways in there, not really getting the full draft, but I wanted to trade that in for a good position at the start of the climb. And then, as you can see, the speed dropping here, the climb kicked in, and there was a guy racing. Basically he's an elite level World Cup mountain bike, marathon and XCO rider from Slovakia, and he started leading the race, and I decided to jump on his wheel, and he was towing me along. The problem was, as you can see just here, I had to do, well, over 400 watts at times, 370 for quite a long time, just to be able to hold his wheel. A little breather here, and unfortunately that wasn't really sustainable, and I had to just let the wheel go. And yeah, afterwards I think he wanted to go for the KM point. The bunch really stretched and fractured into different bits. We were at the front, but I popped and was overtaken by 5-6 riders, and then another small group. I think he popped as well, just 40 meters ahead of me, and I couldn't get in any closer, but it all came back together basically in the descent, which was, well, there was headwind, so we didn't go really fast. I tried to jump on the front group. For a brief period I was in kind of a no man's land, so I did a little bit of time trialing just to get back, and afterwards, yeah, the race was quite uneventful again. I was sitting at the back of this group that remained, roughly 40 riders or so. And then, yeah, basically we went all the way until here, where there's a bit of a cobbled sector. I went on the front there, and there was another climb, a bunch of attacks coming, the group shattering again, but it got back together at the downhill. There were 2 riders at the front, but there was a chase, the teams were leading charge. So yeah, basically when we reached the last descent to the finish, it was all back together again, which is quite untypical for this race. And at that point I really wished there was an hour, or at least an hour and a half to go, because I saw the other riders not being in too much great of the shape, but the group was just too big to do any kind of successful attack at that point. There were a lot of people who tried their luck, but it wasn't really working. And then the finish, it was a quite technical double corner style into a very, very narrow street with no real asphalt, just some tiles. It's basically a square in the middle of the town to keep it interesting for the spectators. And usually it works because riders come in small groups or alone, but this time it was extremely dangerous. So I'm not much of a sprinter anyway. I decided to rather back off a little bit and not get tangled up in any crash, because it's early in the season, and this race wasn't too important anyway. And I ended up 18th at the sprint, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy with how I managed to position myself in the bunch. This was basically the first race, I think, where I haven't made any real tactical mistakes, so I'm happy about that. The form also, I think, was quite good. Obviously it was not enough to go with a World Cup mountain biker, but this is only my 2nd year of racing basically, so I think that's not too bad anyway. Okay, so from now on I think I will have race footage from every race I do, because, well, I've already shown you my GoPro setup. So I'm hoping to bring some more interesting videos and also some more content. As for the next races, this weekend is going to be free, so I will be doing some technical stuff and a lot of training. But afterwards I will do my first proper race with a mountaintop finish, and after that my first proper stage race with 3 stages, 1 time trial. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm hoping to bring you some more content about and reports about those. So if you are interested in that, in seeing that, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. If you want to know more about my bike setups, you'll find that in some older videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.